everybody, and welcome to episode 51 of Nicola O's World Podcast. Welcome. If you are a new viewer checking me out for the first time, thank you so much, and I hope you come back another week. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. As always, I am happy to have all of you. And I'm going to put a disclaimer in. If you have earbuds in, you may want to take them out. I'm going to apologize right now in advance for the barking, because there's a dog upstairs looking out the window, and she sees people going by, she barks. If she carries on, this may be a stop and start episode because of that. So I'm just warning everybody in advance. All right, let's get started. As you guys know, I didn't record last week. And the reason I didn't record last week is everything just got hectic with the holiday season and all. As you guys can see, I am not in my current location where I normally am. We're in a different location for right now. I had a good holidays. My Christmas was good. I did record I believe I recorded after Christmas. Yeah, I did. I think I recorded after Christmas. No, I recorded before Christmas, I think. One of those, I think it was before Christmas I recorded. I'm not sure. I don't remember. I should check, but I didn't. I'm a bad podcaster on that. But yeah, I had a good Christmas with my family. It was quiet. We had ham, in case you're wondering, ham, mashed potatoes, sweet potatoes, the works. New Year's was good. It was quiet. I didn't go anywhere. I stayed home. I dozed off. I didn't even watch the ball come down. When I woke up, it was about midnight. I was watching a movie on Netflix, and I just dozed off. And it wasn't that I didn't like the movie. I dozed off. People making noise woke me up, realizing, oh, it's 2015. Yay! So if you went out for New Year's, I hope you had a great, wonderful New Year's Eve. And, New Year's Day. So yeah, and as I said, I didn't record last week because I needed to catch up. I wanted to catch up on everything, get some of last year's stuff taken care of, and get things together and in order for this year. So I did that. We have some pretty interesting, neat stuff going on, so let's get started. All right, first of all, what am I drinking? Today, in case you're wondering, it's about like 4:30 in the afternoon. I am drinking out of my cup. It's called, I have the box here, I'll show you guys. Victorian Earl Grey tea. And it's not bad. I'm not drinking it with any sweetener in it because I ran out of my stevia. If you're new, I don't use real sugar. I can't because of my diabetes, and plus, I don't like the taste of real sugar. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I'm so used to drinking stevia. I use stevia. I don't care for Splenda. I would have bad reactions from it. I was always itchy or breaking out in blotches and heart palpitations, and we found out that it was the stevia causing it after many tests later. And I don't care for sweet and low. It's okay, but I prefer, out of all the artificial sweeteners, I prefer stevia because it's plant-based and it's natural. And I like the way it tastes. But anyhow, I digress. And I need to get better on that. But I ran out of it, and it's cold where I live. So I didn't feel like running to the store this afternoon to buy any. So I have my non-dairy creamer, my French vanilla creamer in it, which sweetens it enough just for me. But I'll show you the box. It's by Celestial Seasonings, 100% natural tea. Here's what it looks like. This does, I know a lot of their products don't contain caffeine, but this does. I'm not a big fan of decaffeinated teas or coffee, but I do happen to like their decaffeinated teas because you're not like, whoa! Like because some brand teas, their decaffeinated teas just don't taste good. But this is one that does. And yeah, this is pretty good. I like it. This is a recommend if you want store tea. I don't really have a tea shop near me where I can go buy teas unless I drive 30 minutes away to the mall. And yeah, they have I think, is it Tivina? Something like that. Tea something Tivina or something like that. It's a tea shop, which is very good. It can be a bit pricey, but it is very good. And then the other place where I can get tea is 30 miles away at a farmer's market, which is good. He mostly does coffees, but he does tea, which is good too. I like it. I haven't been there. I should go back. I haven't been there because I've been stocked up on teas, but anyways, that's that. And another thing I found when I was at the grocery store, and I want to say Molly from a Homespun House was talking about these, but I saw these and they come from the UK. So any of my English friends, you guys probably are familiar with them, and I'm going to try them on air. I'm not big into chocolate, but I figured I'd just try these to see. So here goes. This is what it looks like. They are good. They remind me if you're here in the States, or maybe even in Canada, they remind me almost of the Whoppers. The little balls like these. They're called Whoppers. That's what this reminds me of. But I think they taste better than those. These are good. I know you're saying, but you just said you have diabetes. Yes, but every once in a while I get a hankering for chocolate. And I don't like a lot of chocolate. And also, I'm lactose intolerant, so I can't really have milk. I really don't. So every once in a while I do get hungry for chocolate. And something like this would actually be good because they're not real big. And I can have a few, close the bag up, put them away. So yeah, they definitely passed my test. I also wanted to show you guys quick, my neighbor sent me this gorgeous bag. I don't know if she made it or she bought it, but I think it is gorgeous. She said to me she thought maybe that it would come in handy for my knitting and crocheting, that if I was doing a big project. So here's the front, and you can see on the front it has a deer, a ram, a bear, and another deer. And here is a deer. It's called Brown Bear. And the back is the same way. And the inside is lined. This is what the inside looks like. And I thought that was very nice of her. And this will definitely come in handy for projects, especially bigger projects that don't fit into smaller project bags. And not only that, but if I'm getting maybe a adjacent project together, I could store it in here. So yeah, you guys may be seeing this on my podcast more. All right, let's jump into Administrati quick. I want to say happy birthday to anybody who has had or will have a birthday in January. If you're a New Year's Day baby, you're awesome. Happy birthday. How cool is that to be born on New Year's Day? Or if you're a New Year's Eve baby, how awesome. All right. Now, before I get into the winner of our holiday gift cow, I want to let you guys know, as of today, January the 9th, 2015, we are starting our year-long blanket along. You guys don't know how hard I fought not to start it in December. I fought because I really wanted to start it in December, but I'm like, no, let's wait into the new year. So we're starting it now. I purposely waited to the day after our holiday gift cow and to start it. It's long. The rules are simple. They're lax, not strict. Here are the rules. By the time you guys see this podcast, the thread will be up. I don't care when you started the blanket. I don't care if the blanket's been on your needles or your hook for years. I don't care how long it's been on there. I don't care how long it's been a work in progress. Basically, I don't care when you started it. As long as you finish it, I'm going to say by December 31st, 2015, or I may actually just close the thread January 1st, 2016. Wow, that sounds strange saying January 1st, 2016. So it's going to be a year long. Or if you guys want, I can close the thread January 9th, 2016 and make it a full year. Yeah, you know what? I think we'll do that. Our long is going to start January today, 1/9/15, and end 1/9/16. That way it gives all of us a full year to work on our project. You can dip into other groups as long as it's okay with their rules and guidelines. I do not care, how many times you dip in other groups, as I said, as long as it's okay with them. As far as what the blankets have to be, it can be Lapgans, Afghans, blankets, baby blankets. It can be maybe pet blankets that you started for your pet. It can be one for full-size beds. It doesn't matter. As long as it's a blanket, it can be a blanket you want to start. Maybe you're wanting to start a blanket. I currently have on my hooks, because this has to either be knit or crochet. So I have a blanket on my hooks that I started. I don't remember when I started. I think it was December I started, I think. Maybe November, but I think December. It is the log cabin blanket. I know that that's a popular pattern on the interwebs, especially on Rav lately. I'm not following a particular pattern for it. It's just loosely based on the log cabins that I've seen. I don't have it here with me to show you, but next podcast, I really do want to show it to you guys. It has not gotten any work done on it since the last time I showed you guys, because as I said, it was a project that when I want to work on it, I'll work on it, and one of those type things. And plus, I ran out of magic cakes, because my log cabin is being done in magic cakes. I don't have planned coordinating colors or how I want to do it. I had 2 big magic cakes caked up that I didn't know what I was going to do with, and I just got the fun idea, hey, this is a great way to use them. Magic cake. If you guys know me, you know I love color, so magic cake is perfect. And how I'm getting a new magic cake caked up is, you guys remember I showed, if you're new you don't, but if you are a regular viewer, I showed this blanket of doom, this blanket of fail. It was a crocheted motif blanket. It was made out of octagons, and for the life of me, I could never line them up to look good. So it was just a total fail, a total bust. I basically wasn't meant to crochet that blanket. So what I'm doing is frogging it. The motifs, the hexagons are different colors in yarn. So as I'm frogging it, I'm just magic caking them up. And it will be added to my blanket. With that being said, I also want to start a knitted log cabin. However, the knitted log cabin is going to be a little bit more planned out, color-wise, perhaps. It's going to be more of color-wise planned out because I'm not going to magic cake that one. All right, you can post your progress in the thread, and chatter is welcome in the thread. Let's encourage each other to get our blankets finished. If you're amazing and you finish 2-3 blankets in the year, yay for you, good luck. But I thought that this would be just a fun little year along, no pressure, just something to give you encouragement to get your blankets done this year. I just thought it would be fun. it will continuously be going on. I may not talk about it every month. Listen to me. Every week. I'm sorry. I may not talk about it every week. I may talk about it every other week. But I will always make sure that I put it in my podcast to remind everybody. The blanket along will just keep going on, and we will also have new cal going on. I didn't pick a new cal yet. I have 2 ideas that I'm currently turning over in my head. So next week's podcast, I will let you guys know when we're going to start our new along. All right, getting on to it, I did pick off camera so that this podcast would not be dramatically long. I random number generated a winner from our holiday gift along. And I want to say you guys really did an outstanding job. Beautiful, amazing finished objects for the holidays. And I really hope that the receivers of those are just as delighted and happy as you were to make them. I know I would have been gorgeous. You guys totally rock. I know that I didn't really post any of mine in there, and I did that for a reason. 1, I didn't have that many finished objects. And 2, I didn't think it would be fair when I'd go to draw a winner. But I know I know from experience now that I do plan on participating more in our long and posting pictures. I do know that if I random number generate a post and it happens to come up on my post, I just random number generate it again. I learned that one after listening to other podcasters and how they do it. So the winner for our holiday gift along was The Yarn Goes On, Lisa Marie. So congratulations. And in case you're wondering what she won or what project it was that she won for, let me show you guys. Well, I'll tell you guys actually. Hang on. Let me go back to it. It was actually for a hat she made. And it was for a birthday hat for her daughter's husband. Well, I hope he really liked that hat because it is gorgeous. Go check it out. It's post number 3. That is gorgeous. Lisa, get in touch with me. Inbox me. I'm also going to magic link you on the podcast here. Give me all your contact information and I will send you your prize. And if you're new and you're wondering what she won, let me get a picture of the prize up here. Because I did take a picture of it because, as I said, I'm away for work. The prize that was up for grabs was Wool in the Woods, and it came with a vest pattern. You don't have to use the vest. You don't have to make the vest. The yarn is, come on, turn sideways. 97% wool, 3% nylon, 200 yards per skein, and there's 4 skeins. You guys can kind of see that. My phone won't work great, but yeah, there's 4 skeins. And it is in a Ziploc bag because I am in a pet-friendly home. But the only time it was taken out of the bag was to show you guys in here and to take this picture. Here's what the skeins look like. And they really are that gorgeous. That is true to picture. There's 4 of them. When you get it, there's going to be one in the bag that came undone. It was that way when I got the bag. I did not do it. I didn't want to twist it back up in fear that I take the tag off that one for you. So I'm sorry about that. But I really hope that you enjoy this. Oh, and it smells so good, the yarn. I really hope that you do enjoy this yarn. I can't wait to see possibly what you're going to make out of it. So yeah, contact me. And if you're wondering, that yarn was out of my, if you knew, that yarn was out of my own personal stash. All right. When we do have our next along that I decide what we're going to do, I will be dipping into my stash again for prizes. I am going to throw this out there. I don't expect you guys to do it. You don't have to do it. But if you would like any prizes for our along, I am accepting prize donations. If you would like to do that, again, I don't expect you guys to do that. You don't have to. I'm just throwing it out there. I'm happy to dig into my own stash to give you guys prizes. And I'm perfectly happy going and buying prizes. But I just thought I'd throw that out there if you guys would ever be interested in it. All right. Next, I will get into that later. Finished objects. Wonk, wonk, wonk. I don't have any. But that's okay. So what I'm going to do is show you an old finished object. And let me get it all the good pizzazz up here for you guys. It's in my project page. And I want to get the name of it right. It's called Breakaway by Jennifer Kupar. This is what it looks like. It's Breakaway. And I used Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the Turqua colorway. If you haven't figured it out, that is my favorite. One of my favorite colorways by Red Heart is Turqua. I like the aqua color. I don't know why. I just like it. I think it's pretty. It is a paid-for pattern on Rav. I did buy this pattern. The pattern is $5 US. And it calls for worsted weight or 10-ply yarn, US 8 or 5 mil needles. Yardage is between 180 to 190 yards or 165 to 174 millimeters. Am I showing you guys the right way on how to wear this? I get myself confused. Hang on. Yes, I am. I am. This is the right way. I was thinking that this way with the little waves was the right way, but it's not. It's this way. And I will tell you guys, I'll put it on for you guys. This thing, I'm not a huge, I don't like the word cowl. I like the word neck warmer if you're new. This isn't going to sit right because of my hoodie, but this thing has come in so handy this past week. I know everybody in the United States is experiencing a cold spell, but where I live here in Pennsylvania, I live in the Poconos, and the other day it was 0 out, and it went down with the windshield, it was like 20 below. So when I had to go out, I wore this thing, and I was able to wear it up here like this. Or I could just readjust it and wear it like that. Or if I was out, I could wear it like this and just go like that. I really love this. This is a wonderful multi-purpose. It really has suited my needs. I definitely cannot wait to cast on another one of these. So since I didn't have a true finished object, I showed an old one. And I used one skein, 300, excuse me, it got fuzz in my mouth, 364 yards. Although I don't think I used a whole skein to make this. I think it may have only been part of a skein. And I used the size 5 mil knitting needles. And I made this actually a year ago. I started it January 21st and completed it January 26th of 2014. All right. Let's move on to works in progress. All right. I am working on my MPG or multi-purpose garment by the wonderful Emily from Fibertown. She has a podcast called Fibertown, and she also has Fibertown Design. She designed this beautiful pattern. It's called Multi-Purpose Garment. Here is a picture of what it looks like, and I'm going to get all the information up here for you guys. As soon as I find it, here we go. It is the pattern. I bought the pattern myself. It is $5.50 US. It is, and it's well worth it. It calls for DK or 8-ply, and US 7 or 4.5 mils. Here is another way that you can wear this. As I said, it is a multi-purpose garment. So that's that. Now, I am using, this is being made, obviously, for myself. And I am using yarn that I had left over from a previous project. I'm in the Mary Maxim Knit Club of the Month. And I had yarn left over from a project, and I didn't want to make the hat that called for the project, so kept the yarn and used it for my MPG. I am using Mary Maxim Milan. This is a Mary Maxim yarn, and it's made in Turkey, and it's dye lot color 557 UMBRIA. Here's the specs if you want to look it up on their website. Excuse me. My throat is getting dry. It is approximately 219 yards, and it's 80% acrylic, 20% wool, 100 grams, 3.5 ounces. Now, I told you guys I was going to end up playing yarn chicken with it and lose, and I did. I knew that. I have to reorder more yarn, but here's where I'm at so far. It is this yarn, in case you're wondering, if you've ever seen the Red Heart Unforgettable Boutique or Bernat Mosaic, this is kind of what it's like. It's like a self-striping type of yarn. It's kind of like in that theme, like the Bernat Mosaic and Red Heart Boutique. You want to call it self-striping, self-painting? Not sure what you want to call it, but it is in that line. Here's what it looks like. And this is very much true to color, even though the lighting is fading in here. It is very gorgeous. I love how it's coming out. And if in case you're wondering, I am using the 4.5 mil needles. And I cast this on December the 5th. So it is working. I am, until I get the yarn in the mail. If you look on my project page, I'm actually going to be showing it as hibernating on my project page. Not because I don't want to work on it. Just until I have the yarn, it's going to be hibernating. That's another thing that I plan on becoming adamant with on my project page, is if I have a yarn in hibernation, I am not going to be afraid to mark that it's hibernating or that I had to frog it. So that's that. My next work in progress is some vanilla socks. No particular pattern, just plain old vanilla bean socks with a fish lips kiss heel. And I'm calling them my sweet and spicy socks. It's an opal yarn. Do I have the ball band? I hope I do. Yes, I do. It is by Opal Pullover Sock Woolen. It is sweet and spicy in their sweet and spicy print. I won this yarn from the Turbo Knitter podcast from Ken. Hi, Ken. I absolutely love this yarn. Now I know why people rave about opal yarn. I want to get more. Here's what the colors look like. This is showing up gorgeous, you guys. This is gorgeous. Now, I do have to go do some sock surgery on my socks, and that is my own fault, which I am not mad about because it was my own fault. I tried the socks on to see how far I wanted to make them. Where they're toe up, Turkish cast on, fish lips kiss heel, Here's how they're coming up so far. Isn't this beautiful, you guys? The way it just stripes itself. This looks like a hot mess right now. I have it a hot mess. But I tried it on. Normally, I know what other podcasters do is when they make a sock, they'll make it almost as long as your toe. Like, they'll make it to say about right here where my finger is, and then go from here, do about this much ribbing for the cuff. Or some will go here and do that much ribbing. Like, they'll take it to where my finger is and then do that much ribbing. I may do that. I tried them on and I liked where the length is now, because where the length is now is it's right here, and I thought about doing that much ribbing. I think I may go longer. Now, the reason I'm saying I noticed some errors when I tried it on, I thought I had my laddering problem fixed, but apparently it goes all the way down. It almost looks like I dropped stitches. So I'm going to go back and fix that. And you guys can see on that side a little bit too. Not so much on this side, but on this side, I can see where I majorly, like, it looks like I don't know what happened. But I'm going to go back and fix that. So they're currently hibernating. Well, I had to put them in hibernation till I went and got the tool I needed to fix them. And I will show that to you guys in a few minutes. As soon as this is in my I Love Makeup bag. I'll show you guys. I stuck it in my Whoo bag. My notions bag. Did I stick it in here? I thought I stuck it in here. Yes, I did. I want to find more of these. It is a little crochet hook. And what I'll do is I'll go from the bottom up where the bad laddering starts and just take the stitches all the way up and fix it. Talia. I know you were showing, I believe, is it a Susan Bates little crochet hook where the top of it has the crochet hook and the bottom of it has the point like for knitting, to fix the knitting thing? Where did you get that? Because I really like that. I don't really care for the ones on Knit Picks. It has a crochet hook on both ends. I like this one, don't get me wrong. I absolutely love this one. I won this from Ken's podcast, and Ken, this little gadget is a lifesaver. You do not know how much use I got out of this already. This little puppy helped me out a lot. It saved me from ripping back. It's like a little miracle. I absolutely love it, and the fact that it had this little knob at the end already has saved me. I want to get more of these. Ken, where did you get yours that you use? Because I like yours too, and I want to get more to keep in each of my Notion cases. All right, moving on. I have on my needles, and this one hasn't got much love either this week. It is, do I even have them on here? My Hermione's Everyday Socks. Oh, I gotta pick that stopper up. Alright, I'll show you guys. This is a free pattern on Rav. I highly recommend that you check it out. I print my patterns on double sides, like I use both sides of the paper when I print it. It's Hermione's Everyday by Erica Lueder, Lueder, and it calls for US 1 2.25, 2 sets of circs or needles to obtain gauge. That's the Hermione's Everyday, and that's the heel. I am right now on the chart pattern to the socks to make the actual socks to make the pattern. Here's where I'm at. It's the same place as I showed you guys the last time. But if you're new, you're seeing it for the first time. But here's where I'm at. Guys are seeing the texture good, and it is very true to color. I am using Lion Brand sock yarn, and it's my first time using Lion Brand sock yarn. I've previously used other brands like Mustache yarn from the Mustache Shop from the Mustache Podcast. I use yarn by Knitsomnic and by Red Heart, their Heart and Soul. And of course, Opal. This is Sockies with aloe vera. One ball makes a pair. And you guys, I told you that I couldn't find this in the stores. Well, I went to the Lion Brand website. And I'm such a ditz at times, you guys. They still make this sock. They still make this. Except the only thing that changed is the picture. And the wording. Oh my goodness, because I typed in Sockies, and it came up, like I searched their yarn, and I wanted to make sure that it was the same as this ball band, so I compared my ball band to the one they have, and everything is exactly the same. I'm such a ditz. All they did was changed the ball band cover. Now, I don't know if Joann's carries it. I have to double check when I go. They could very well have it, and me being the dum-dum and never picked up the Lion Brand socks, oh, that's not what I use. You know, I could have been the dum-dum and not realized it. So if I go to Joann's this weekend, I'm going to look that up and check. They may still be selling it, and if not, I'll check AC Moore, and if not, I can order it from lionbrandyarn.com. So yeah. That's the yarn, and it is in color 205, Cotton Candy. And I really do like that color. And I am going to see if one ball actually makes a pair of socks. Make sure they're not just pulling my foot, so to speak. Which I don't think they would. I am a fan of Lion Brand yarn. I'm not a yarn snob. I love all yarn. But Lion Brand is one of my fave yarns. Alright. Moving on. Where did I put it? You guys will remember, and I'm going to talk about it on here. I was working on the Ice cardigan by Carol Feller. I showed you guys the body, and I said I thought it was going to be too small, but then when I tried it on, it seemed like it was going to be, yeah, I cast off for the body. Yeah, it didn't fit. I followed exactly, like, I measured my bust size, and yes, I did swatch, and the swatch came out fine, but when I was knitting it, yeah, it didn't, like, I don't know. I followed the correct sizing and everything for the bust size, and it was too small. And if I would have went up to the next bust size, I'm afraid it would have been too big. I don't know. But I frogged it. Yes, Marlisha, I frogged the project. And you know what? Don't be afraid to frog, Marlisha. Just go ahead and frog it. Believe me. Because let me tell you, it felt so liberating. It felt so good. Even though I worked the whole body of the sweater and had it off for the arms, it felt wonderful to frog that project because it didn't come out right. And I was not happy. I just ripped it out, and I didn't think twice. I was so happy. So this project is frogged. It is going on the very back burner because this was the third time I tried to make this project. The first two times was at a Lion Brand homespun, and it came out too big. The third time was with Red Heart Super Saver in the turquoise colorway, and it came out too small. So what I'm going to do is when I take this pattern at a timeout, I'm going to go up one bust size. using the Red Heart Super Saver yarn in the Turk colorway. So she's in the back burner. That isn't what I was working on. Where is what I was working on? I am working on a new sweater project. And speaking of sweater projects, if you're not familiar or you haven't, you should follow Pinhook Needles podcast. You should. I highly recommend it. I highly recommend the Turbo Needle podcast. But anyhow, Pinhook Needles is doing a sweater along. And I am totally joining it because I decided after going through my queue on Rav, check out my queue if you want, I am doing the February lady sweater. This is a free pattern on Rav, and I'm using Red Heart Super Saver in the turquoise colorway on US 10 6mm needles. You can't really tell anything now because this project looks like a hot little mess. It just looks like a blob, and with all its stitch markers hanging off. But here's what it looks like so far. It is like a raglan top down. I am at the yoke, but here's where I'm at so far. Can't really see too well on me. It is gorgeous. My only concern is my issue. I am having some issues with the pattern. It doesn't tell you when to bind off of the sleeves. Doesn't tell you how many not bind off of the sleeves, but it doesn't tell you when to section off for the sleeves and how many stitches to take off for the sleeves. It doesn't tell you that. I like the pattern, but I honestly feel that the pattern could have been written a little bit better. Maybe it's just me. There are some people, I did put a call out on Instagram and on Facebook. So I am getting some help with that. I mean, like I said, I am a little disappointed because here is how it is supposed to look. Because here's the buttonhole right here. So I am kind of confused as when and where you start for the sleeves. So to those of you that offered to help me, thank you so much. You will be hearing from me by this weekend. So those are all my works in progress. I have a future work in progress, which will be tonight. My cousin asked me, she's going to a, excuse me, baby shower. She has a baby shower to go to. She asked me, would I crochet up some baby booties? Well, if you know me, I don't do conventional baby booties. I like different. And one of my go-to baby booties is the Crocheted Baby Booty Sneakers by Sue's Crocheting and Knitting.com. I found this pattern I originally learned to make this by following Mikey from the crochetcrowd.com, formerly of Mikey's Mail. He originally crocheted this pattern up on a tutorial, and I fell in love with it. And it became automatic on how to make them. So this is my go-to baby booty pattern. It is so much fun to make up. I can make a pair in a day or a few hours. If you're a crocheter, I highly recommend getting this pattern. It is a free pattern. I think there's a link for it on Rav. Hang on. I knit these for when I worked in the nursing home and some of the girls had babies. I made this pattern up numerous times because it was just so much fun, and people really liked them. Yes, you can. I have a link on my Rav page. There is a Rav page for it called Crochet Baby Sneakers by Sue Norrad, Norrad, and it gives you a link to her site for the pattern. This is fun. I have made it several times. I should have posted more pictures of it, but I didn't. But yeah, next time you see me, this is going to be a finished object or a picture of a finished object. All right. That is everything that I have to work on. Now, I'm going to answer quickly and I put this off, I have a thread called Ask Nicole. Just what it entitles. Ask me anything you would like to know about me, or you want to know, or you're curious about, or whatever. It doesn't have to be knitting and crochet or fiber related. It can be anything. A wonderful viewer who I happen to adore very much, has a very good podcast, and I happen to like it. Let me get my questions up here. The question was asked by Sissy Knit Crochet. She asked me, and I will also post the answers to this in the link. She asked me, how did you learn to crochet? Okay, before I answer this, excuse me, there's going to be a little bit of a bad word coming out of my mouth. So if you have children in the room, either have them go into another room for a couple seconds, or hold their ears, or put some earbuds in. I learned 2 ways how to knit. Here's the first one, and I'm going to warn you right now. I'm going to count down to 5. I'm going to count down from 5 to make sure you have your little ears out of the room that shouldn't be hearing this. So 5, 4, 3, 3.5. Are they out? 2, 2.5, 1, 1.5. Are they out? I hope they're out, because here goes. One of the ways I learned how to crochet was from the Stitch and Bitch books. Okay, if you can have little ears come in now, I'm done. That's the name of the book. And I learned by reading those books, and I think it's by, who makes those books? I'll tell you guys. Hang on, I'll tell you. I want to say it's by Debbie Stroller. Yes, Deb. It is by Deb Stroller, Stroller. She has several of the Stitch and books, and also one called The Happy Hooker for crochet. I learned how to knit from those books. I have like 3 of them at home. One is crochet, and the other 2 are for knit. And I bought the crochet one first, then I bought the 2 knit books together, because I tried knitting on my own, and it was so confusing because my dominant hand, I'm a lefty. So when I tried knitting, and most videos that I saw at the time, the brain couldn't wrap around to do it. Like, how am I good? I found it so hard, because they're saying, some of them would say, use your dominant hand. Well, for crocheting, it feels natural for me to crochet with my left hand than it does my right. I can go with my right, but it's not as comfortable. But I was trying it with my left, and I'm like, it's just like holding the yarn in my left hand while knitting did not feel right. So I read Deb's books, and it started to make sense to me, because I read them from cover to cover, and it absolutely started to make sense to me. Like, she told me she basically said there's no wrong or right way to knit. Like, there's like no wrong way in which hand you want to hold it to knit. And I also learned from some YouTube videos. If you guys follow the crochetcrowd.com, it used to be called Mikey's Mail. He has some videos. He's predominantly crochet, but he does have some knitting videos. Excuse me. So I kind of learned from him. Like, I got the grasp. And then I seen some other videos. And one, I don't remember who it's by, but it just stuck in my head, where you hold, when I knit, I'll show you guys right now. When I knit, here's my working yarn in my left hand. Here's my needle I need to put it on in my right. So I slip it on. I put it through the hole. take the working yarn. Here's my working yarn. I wrap it around my left hand, my right hand. Here's it around my right hand, and then counterclockwise and through. That's how I knit, and that's how I learned how to knit. So I learned how from two books, from the book and YouTube videos on how to knit. So yeah, long story, that's how I learned how to knit. And I haven't looked back since. I'm glad I learned how, because between knitting and I love it. Her next question was, do you crochet? Yes, I crochet. That is my first love. That's what I learned first, and I absolutely love to crochet. There's some things, though, that I'd rather do knitting versus crocheting. I prefer to knit a sweater versus crochet a sweater. I don't know why. I've never tried tackling a crocheted sweater, but crochet is my first love. I do love it. I know I don't always do it as often, but I do know how to crochet, and I do love it, and I do plan on doing more of it this year. Her next question is, what is your favorite color? Well, that's a hard one for me, because I love color. I'm a very colorful person. Very colorful. I have Crocs in multicolors, and they do not coordinate with my outfits, and I like it that way. Because that's the type of person I am. I love color. But predominantly, if I had to choose just between one, it's yellow. I love yellow. Yellow is like my favorite color. I don't know why. I've always loved yellow. But I also love blues and pinks and orange. I love oranges. But yellow is predominantly my favorite color. I'm an oddball. Most people think because I'm a girl that it would be pink. I don't wear pink that much because I'm fair complected, and with my rosacea, pink don't always look. This pink I have on is like one of my favorite colors, and it surprisingly I think looks okay on me. Anyhow, next question. She asked, do you like music? Yes, I do. I happen to love music. I actually originally always thought I'd be a music teacher. Music is one of my favorite loves. I'm very passionate about it. I like all kinds of music, from classical music, all the way down to Black Sabbath. I can jam out to some Black Sabbath. I love all kinds of music. I give all kinds of music a try. I'm not a snob when it comes to it. I'm very eclectic when it comes to music. I am sorry about the barking. Last question. If you had $100 to go on a yarn haul, where would you go and what items would you buy? Wow. That was a tough question. Because there's numerous places I could go. But I narrowed it down. There'd be more than one place I'd go to spend my $100. And a fiber in my mouth. Sorry, you guys. You don't want to see me picking at my mouth, but I have fiber in my mouth. One of the places I picked that I would love to go would be the Lion Brand store in New York. I'd love to go shopping in there, pick up a couple skeins of sock yarn. And I know not many people like it, but I happen to like the Vintage Choice yarn. They say it feels like a plastic shopping bag when you're working with it. But I will tell you from experience, when you knit it up, when you wash it up, I don't have my sweater with me, but I'll show it to you another time. My purple sweater that you usually see me wear, that's out of Vintage Choice yarn. And when you wash it up, that is the softest thing you want next to your skin. It is so soft. And another one I think would happen to be, it's the shops, like, there's two. One shop is like 30 minutes from me. It's called Tucker's Yarn Shop in Allentown, Pennsylvania. It's a family-owned store, and I happen to like it. I would go there and buy some money's worth of stuff. And then lastly, I don't know if many of you guys know about it or have heard about it, but I'm trying to fix my leg. It's called, I'm drawing a blank on it. I know they have tweed. It's in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. They're a Nazareth company. Oh, I'll tell you. It's on my project page. I don't know why I am drawing a blank on them because it's one of my... I love the store. And I frequent it. Not as often as I should. But I love the store. Why can't I find the yarn? Or Nicole, you goofball, why can't you find it? Hang on. Let me try Stash. Kramer Yarns. That's what it's called. Kramer Yarns. They're in Nazareth. Their store is in Nazareth, Pennsylvania. It literally is about like 30 to 45 minute drive from me. They were the ones responsible for the yarn for the Olympics in Sochi. They made the yarn for the sweaters for Sochi. Kramer Yarns is wonderful. I love their yarn. I actually have a pair of socks, and these, you guys, are literally my first pair of socks I made, that I ever made, called Easy Peasy Socks I made. And they are horrible because they were my first socks, but they're made out of Kramer Yarns. And there's the color, and the colorway is called Tatami Tweed Worsted. And the pattern I used to make it was Easy Peasy Socks. So my last stop would have to be at Kramer's to spend what I had left out of the $100. I think I would only, at Lion Brand, maybe buy maybe a skein of sock yarn, and then go to Tucker's and buy two skeins of another yarn, and then use the rest of the money to shop at Kramer's Yarn Shop in Nazareth and spend the rest of my money on their gorgeous yarn. Because their yarn is gorgeous. I highly, highly recommend knitting and crocheting with it. You will not be sorry. I've actually been toying with the idea of going back down there and doing a little yarn shopping. Not that I need it, but I want to make another pair of socks since these are coming apart because Nicole did not know how to make socks when she made these. So I hope that answers your question, and I know this is a very long video. I'm going to let you guys go so that I can edit this, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye!